Well, I've just finished the second one, and I had to finish it with my needle files. And the reason being is, as happens off camera, my Dremel burnt out. Now, I can't say for definite, I'll have to have a look, but I don't think I've owned this for much more than a year, if a year. And it really does get light use. And I didn't buy the cheapest one available, but literally it was just a case of, oh, that's getting warm, oh hello, it's smoking. And to be fair, it's pissed me off, quite frankly. As I say, it really has not had a lot of use. So I'm going to be chasing it up and seeing what happens with that, and I will let you know. Because to be quite frankly, I should have gone down to Lidl's, bought a cheap little Parkside, when they do them every now and then, get a 3-year guarantee on them. So we'll see what Dremel come up with as far as this is concerned. So I'm just going to do a bit of a review on this little Parkside multi-tool stroke Dremel. And the reason why I'm doing it, and I've got quite a bit of Parkside stuff, I will say, comes from Lidl's. It's about as cheap as you can get it on eBay, but you get a 3-year warranty with all of their power tools. Or so far, everything's got a 3-year warranty on it. So you're not going to get that off eBay. For example, this is my Dremel 4000. Didn't go for the cheapest model, bought a decent one. And this is pretty much the kit it came with. Had it 14 months. Really haven't done a great deal of work with it, or I don't consider a great deal of work with it. I know a few hobbyists that use theirs pretty much all the time, and I definitely do not. 14 months old, and it's burnt out. So I contacted the eBay I got it from, because I bought it new, and it turns out it wasn't exactly new. It was a unwanted gift, and he'd had it about a year, so no bloody warranty, which has really pissed me off for the amount of use it's had, and it's burnt out already. I mean, literally smoke started coming out of it. So I thought about replacing it with another Dremel, and these things are not cheap. Not cheap at all. I think, off the top of my head, this was like 100 quid-ish, something I can't really remember. As opposed to this, and here it is hanging up here. It, I think it was about 30 something odd quid, I can't remember. I literally just bought it, brains going. But it was no more than 40 quid. So when you compare it with this, just to look at, they're just as good. This was 170 watt, I think it was. Or 175 watts, where this is 160 watts, I think. Where is it? 160 watts here, there. So, a little bit lower power, but it's not massive amount. And obviously I can't demonstrate this one because it's not bloody working, but I'll talk you through the bits and pieces that I've found different about them, good or bad, and you can make up your own choice. So the first thing is, it comes with a stand which you can hang it on when you're using the flexi lead, and clamps to the bench. You've got two different ways of clamping it, that way or the other way. Fully adjustable in height. The Dremel, no, it doesn't come with that. That'll be an accessory. In the kit comes with a router attachment, so you can screw it on and use it as a router. It comes with a little LED torch thing. Don't quite see the point of that. Might come in handy for some people maybe, but if you're working into like a little hole, and of course it gets a bit dark in there. That's the adapter off the front, which you need to replace the take off, so you can fit the flexi cord. Toolkit, reasonable toolkit comes with it, or should I say accessory kit. Quite a few bits and pieces, and this is the Dremel one that I've used a couple of pieces, but nothing major has gone missing out of there, I don't think. Other polishing bonnets, there was a few polishing bonnets in there that are gone, but comparison wise, far better. So, power cord for the Dremel, it is literally a metre shorter than the Parkside one, and I found it's a right pain in the arse actually, not being a little bit, being a little bit longer. The Parkside one being a metre longer is going to be far better. As you can see, it's not massively long. I'm guessing 1.5 metres, 2 metres at the most. So, the Parkside scores on that. This is the flexi attachment. To change it, you take off the nose, take off the chuck, and then what you do is you've got an adapter on here with a square drive, which you then screw on the front of this, and that then goes into the square drive and screws onto your Dremel. And that's it, that's relatively straightforward. On the Parkside one, to fit the flexi cord, again, unscrew the end. This is where it's a little bit different. You pull the drive, it's got a square drive on it, but you don't use an adapter. You simply put it in, tighten up your collet, slide it on, and then do it up. Fitted. Now I can see the advantage of the square drive. It's probably a bit more durable in the long run. Don't know. I only had it 14 months, so, or I should say it's only working 14 months, so I can't tell you. But to be fair, it's quicker, it works. So I think the Parkside probably scores just slightly better, because you haven't got to change anything out. Literally, it's just slide it in, do the chuck up, screw it up. Now, the cord itself on the Dremel, or the flexi driver, is reasonably flexible. You've got a button on the end there which locks the spindle in place. It's quite small, it's alright. Lengthwise, they're pretty much the same. The difference is but the Parkside one seems really flexible compared with the Dremel one. Slightly smaller in the diameter. Whether that means it's got the longevity of it, I don't know, but it is really quite nice and flexible. The button at the end to lock it on the Dremel has been replaced with a slide down chuck on these. Slide it down and it locks it together. So, and that seems to be a nice little alternative, because I found using this, every now and then I would just accidentally press the button while it was working, and it's great grindy noises. That is going to be a bit more positive. So it's clearly got to be in the right place for it to go in as well. So yeah, not quite maybe as ergonomic, is that the right word, as the Dremel one, but really there's not a great deal in it. Chuck size on the end is marginally larger than the Dremel one, but we're talking marginal. One interesting note, the Dremel collet, there's only one that comes in the kit. There's two in the Parkside, both different sizes, so you can take different size bits. I don't know whether Dremel will do a smaller one or a larger one, but it only came with one. This has got two. Okay, moving on to the machines themselves. Well, they're nigh on identical in size, in both diameter and length. Switch for the Parkside is at the top, and the Dremel is there. Locks are in a similar place for spindle lock. Speed at the back end. Seems to be just about as variable as well, from what I remember. They are numbered in RPM on the Dremel, which is handy, where it's just numbers 1 to max on the Parkside. But there is a in the booklet, it tells you what speeds, what numbers. But it would have been interesting to know I'd put the RPM on there, that would have been a little bit better. Hanging bracket, square hanging bracket, clips away nicely. Dremel one comes to a point which is probably a little bit more handy, because it will actually hang up a bit squarer. It really is not going to make that much difference. Very positive lock in it. Where this one it's in there, but it doesn't take much to come out. Is it going to cause a problem in use? Probably not. Packaging. Well, Parkside comes in a blow moulded plastic case with all the accessories on it. The Dremel comes in a little canvas bag. I guess the advantage of the Dremel one is the fact that you haven't got to make sure that the lead's wound up in the exactly right way to get it in the bag. To be honest, mine just hang up. I've got a hook for it. I just hang it up out the way when I'm not using it, because I couldn't be asked for getting it in and out of the bag every time. So for me, there's no real difference. Here's the little chart for the book. It doesn't really give speeds But whereas Dremel comes with a chart. I can't actually remember whether this did come with the Dremel itself. I think it came with a couple of tools that I bought. But either way, it gives the actual RPM in the chart there. Okay, as far as use goes, I don't normally use it for heavy work like this. I normally use it for fine detailing, but it does a reasonable job. There seems to be a bit of vibration on this. I think maybe I've gone too close to the actual machine. It needs to be a bit further away. But apart from that, seems to do the job just about the same as the Dremel did. So there you go. As far as interchangeability of parts go, well, pretty much the tools themselves, accessories, all the spindle shafts are more or less the same size, and the spanner is nearly identical. Apart from that, pretty much none of the other Dremel accessories fit, just the basic tools, which is just as well because I bought quite a lot of them. There we go. Make your own luck, whether it's worth spending the money on a Dremel or cheap little Parkside tool. So I have got quite a few bits and pieces from Parkside. If it's coming up for sale, I'd rather buy it from them than I would eBay, purely and simply because the price is more or less about the same and you do get a 3-year warranty on it. Hence why I've got a date written on all my stuff. I know when I bought it, you can go back to store and yeah, happily sort it out for you. Anyway, hope that was useful. Thanks for watching. One thing I don't like about this flexi shaft is I said about the lock that you've got to pull it back to lock it, which is fine. It's a reasonable spring on there. But when you actually put your part in, or your tool in, and do it up, it's not actually locked to the body, it locks to this. So you can still turn it. So when you're trying to pull it back, you've got to grip this to hold the spring back, and grip this enough to hold it against your spanner, which I found just a little bit of a pain in the arse. It's just a bit of hard work to hold it back and do it up tight, because you're trying to do 3 things at once. What I think they should have done is when you pull that back, it locks into this and then locks in to the bottom bit, so then at least you're trying to hold the whole thing as one mass rather than try and hold it up with these fingers, hold that down with them fingers and stop it twisting. That's the only negative thing I can find about it, really. Yeah, no big deal, but something they could have improved on.